Part 290. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2891. How could he not understand that it was because Mirongyu was afraid that something would happen to him, so he wanted to protect him all the way? Fang Fan remained silent on the spot, did not speak for a while, his eyes seemed a little silent. He was still thinking in his mind, who the hell is driving all this behind the scenes? He even sent his idea to the Snow Crystal Plain. The third-class temple of the Light Alliance on the Snow Crystal Plain, which is close to the Qingtian Sanctuary, is the fief granted to Fang Fan by the temple. After getting this fief, Fang Fan planned to make it the second residence of the human race. At present, most of the people in the human race and human emperor's hall have been evacuated there. If it is really destroyed there, it will really be over. Fang Fan can't wait for this flying battleship to arrive in seconds. Owner. Woo 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 woo. Is it that the Snow Crystal Plain has been attacked? My Snow Clan, are all the members of the Snow Clan, gone? Owner. A little loli flew over from a distance, her whole body exuded a youthful atmosphere, and at this moment, the pear blossoms were raining, and she looked very excited. Fang Fan sighed and remained silent. The person in front of him is Xueling, the princess of the Snow Clan that Fang Fan met on the Snow Crystal Plain. To some extent, this is the first female slave in the female slave system? The special effect of the female slave is that she can share half of the experience points with Fang Fan when she is practicing. Fang Fan's eyeballs rolled around, thinking to himself, his eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance. All kinds of thoughts are gathered here, and the facial expressions are unpredictable. And on Xueling's body is a seventh-class god of Snow Fairy. It's just that during this period of time Xueling has been staying in the world of Shushan Pavilion, and has relatively little contact with it. Even Mirongyu didn't pay much attention. At this moment, seeing Xueling yelling one master after another, Mirongyu subconsciously felt a little apprehensive. Hee. It's really romantic and suave. Mirongyu bit his red lips, and while talking, he gave Fang Fan an annoyed look. Fang Fan looked innocent. Good guy, this has something to do with him having a hammer, doesn't he have a headache too? All the things involved here have nothing to do with him. This. Why don't you believe it? This brain is also very painful, isn't it? Fang Fan sighed deeply, and subconsciously raised his eyebrows. At this moment, the teardrops on Xueling's face were rushing down, because he felt so uncomfortable in his heart, so he threw himself into Fang Fan's arms and began to cry loudly. Good guy. Now even if Fang Fan wants to refute, it seems that he can't find an excuse. Because this has basically been set by default. For the rest, what else can I continue to say? It's cold, it's completely cold, isn't it? Fang Fan gave a wry smile, feeling a little headache for no reason. Don't worry, the current situation on the Snow Crystal Plain is not clear yet. We will arrive at the Snow Crystal Plain soon, and we will know everything by then. It's useless to be anxious now, keep your energy up, there will be a big battle going on later. Also, you should also prepare your god position skills, don't use them indiscriminately recently. Fang Fan pondered for a while, and then his eyes lit up. Xueling possesses the 7th rank god Snow Fairy. Since Fairy Xue can qualify for the 7th class god position, she naturally has her own uniqueness. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2892. Snow Fairy has 2 special effects for gods. Divine Position Special Effect 1, Frozen thousands of miles can use the spirit of snowflakes to completely freeze, and can freeze thousands of miles unconditionally for 10 seconds. Cooldown period is 1 month. God Position Special Effect 2, Snow's Profound Meaning, condenses the power of snow, understands the profound meaning. Every time you use it, you can improve your own cultivation level by yourself. The cool down period is 1 month. There is no need to say anything more about the special effect of the second God position, it is to speed up the improvement of cultivation. But the first God special effect, frozen 1,000 miles, is extraordinary. Although there is a cooling off period of 1 month, the unconditional freezing of the land of thousands of miles for 10 seconds is exciting to think about. In these 10 seconds, a lot of things can already be done. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, thinking to himself. The light in his eyes grew more and more, and the sound of breathing became extremely rapid at this moment. Needless to say anything else for the time being, this time the thoughts gathered here, and the whole body trembled. This feeling is especially pure. A few days later, the speed of the flying battleship became faster and faster. Snow Crystal Plain. At this moment, this place is already a Shura field. Looking at the past, where the corpses are placed, the blood flows into a river, the river is rushing, and it is connected to each other, converging into a sea. Hundreds of millions of creatures on the entire plain are being slaughtered at this moment. In the face of absolute power, the power of the plain is still too weak. Right now, only the Rage God Temple placed on the Snow Crystal Plain still has some resistance. In front of their eyes, there are countless men in black who are constantly attacking. Continuous and rhythmic. In the Rage God Temple, Ymir, who is the high priest of the temple, stood there, her brows were already frowning. This time the situation is different from usual. In the past, the human emperor's hall was not without crazy attacks, and it was also absolutely crushed in terms of strength. Once, the human emperor's hall and even the Rage God Temple were about to suffer catastrophe, but they survived at the last moment. In the end, Fang Fan was able to return successfully. But this time, they obviously had many opportunities to attack, and then they could completely wipe out the entire Rage God Temple and Human Emperor Hall, but they didn't do that. What is their purpose? Their strength is too strong, we have long lost the ability to resist. Even the divine light of the Rage God Temple has been exhausted long ago. If they want, they can rush into harvest at any time, and then carry out the final slaughter. But every time it comes to the last moment, I always quit. It's like playing with us, wanting to hit us, but not wanting to kill us completely. Ymir breathed out a turbid breath, her brows were already furrowed at this moment. While she was talking, her eyes subconsciously scanned the surroundings, her facial expression was unpredictable at this moment, it seemed unreal. There are definitely a lot of things involved in this, and there are definitely problems here. Absolutely not as easy and simple as imagined. Why? I can't figure out what these people are thinking. Suddenly follow up and launch an attack. They can defeat even an existence like Dongguo Saint. Naturally, they are powerful. It's even easier to kill us, but why do you have to do this? Another hobby. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2893. Zhang Ao, the vice principal of the Human Emperor's Hall, shook his head, his eyes couldn't help but glanced around, his forehead couldn't help but wrinkled all over. When things go wrong, there must be a demon. Could it be that their target is not us at all? Is it because they attacked the wrong target? But if the attack is wrong, why haven't we evacuated yet? I always feel that their target is not us. It's like a bureau. We have been resisting with all our strength before, but we didn't think too much about it. Now that we think about it carefully, there must be something wrong with it, at least not as simple as imagined. Ymir's wisdom has also been tempered all the time. When Fang Fan was away, she was basically helping Fang Fan deal with many things in the Human Emperor Palace and the Rage God Temple. But what do we have here that they need? Star core. Mineral resources. These things may be more important to us, but for those of them, they should be very common things. Will they care about them? No. Absolutely impossible. If it wasn't for these things, it would be even more incredible. Ghost knows what's involved in this. At this moment, Xialing, the head of the Temple Guardian Legion, frowned, and then analyzed from the side. At this moment, in the main hall, most of the high-level members of the Human Emperor's Hall are gathered. There are also a small part that has been sacrificed in the process of guarding. Drunkards don't want to drink. The target of these men in black is not us. We are like bait, luring something. The only one who can get involved with us and attract the attention of these strong men is, only my husband. Ymir murmured to herself. Her voice was not loud at the moment, but she had already made a comprehensive understanding. As soon as Ymir said this, the expressions of the surrounding people suddenly changed. Although they don't want to admit it, but right now it seems that this is the only thing that seems a little more real. On the whole, it can only be like this. If all of this is true, wouldn't the problem be even bigger? I shouldn't have sent them out for help. Some of them must have gone to the sanctuary of the firmament to find their husband. If my husband knows the situation here, he will definitely turn back, and then he has really fallen into the conspiracy of these people. It's all my fault. Ymir clenched her red lips tightly, her face could not help showing extreme panic. The men in black in front of me are so powerful, if the husband returns, he will definitely be surrounded by them. At that time, the risk factor will suddenly increase. Thinking of this, Ymir's face became more and more worried. At this moment, I can no longer continue to say anything, my whole body is trembling slightly. It is probably such an extraordinarily pure and real feeling. As soon as I thought of this, my mentality also silently rose. The whole person becomes erratic. This feeling is not very good. From Ymir's point of view, she would rather die on the spot than have any accident happen to Fang Fan. Meyer, this has nothing to do with you, don't blame yourself. If these people are really going after your husband, then they must have made a comprehensive plan. Even if we don't ask for help and tell our husband, I'm afraid these men in black will tell us through various channels. This is an unsolvable problem. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2894. Xialing sighed, then shook her head helplessly. Needless to say anything else for the time being, at this moment, the thoughts gathered here, and the facial expression has completely changed accordingly. There will be some anxiety in the depths of my heart. This feeling seems too real. I can't help but think of it. No solution to the problem. Now I hope that my husband will turn back immediately after seeing the situation here. You can't fall into this net of heaven and earth. Ymir clenched her fists and prayed silently in her heart. Meyer, don't you know your husband's character? If he knows the situation here, he will definitely rush over here with all his strength, and there is absolutely no way to escape. Now I can only pray silently. Xialing shook her head, then sighed silently. The snow crystal plain faces the opposite. At this moment, there are about thousands of men in black gathered here. The number is not too many, but at a glance, all of them are existences of 5-star sanctuary and above. Extremely powerful. There is even the existence of the realm of the Holy Venerable. Holy Lord, that is the symbol of the 9-star sanctuary. Compared with those ordinary sanctuary Jingxiolins, it is a world of difference. At this moment, those gaps are flashing out invisibly, and if you are not careful, you may be directly involved in them and cannot extricate yourself. Beside these men in black, a group of people is particularly eye-catching, because this group of people are actually wearing the uniforms of the priests of the third-class Light Alliance temple in the Qingtian sanctuary. The one who is leading at this moment is the third-class Holy Zuchdun of the Temple of the Light Alliance in the Qingtian sanctuary. Generally speaking, the posture of such a big man is very proud, but at this moment, the attitude of this such sage seems extremely humble. Master Wuji, everything has been arranged properly. According to your instructions, these remnants of the human emperor's palace have been hanging these days, not all of them died. In addition, a few messengers they sent out were also released before, and they must have passed the news to Fang Fan in Guangming Academy by this time. If everything goes well, it will only take these 2 days, and that Fang Fan will definitely appear here again. Lord Wuji, the overall situation has stabilized, so you don't have to worry. Master Wuji, if you want to kill Fang Fan, why do you need to do it yourself? Just leave this matter to me, and I will definitely handle it for you. Zuchdun, the deputy first-rank saint of the third-class Light Alliance temple in the Qingtian sanctuary, was speaking, and the flattering look on his face became more and more follow-up. Ah! This Fang Fan must be killed by us. This is the oracle of the true God. If you dare to make a claim, do you know the consequences? The black-robed man known as the Promise was talking, and then stared directly at Zuchdun with cold eyes, which directly made the Zuchdun tremble, and the frightened look on his face also increased. I didn't dare to say anything else anymore, I only dared to nod again and again, expressing my sense of panic. Needless to say the rest, this expression and gesture are very pure and real. The gap between each other is too big. For this such sage, naturally he dare not try his edge easily. Back then, when Dong Qiushuo, who was successfully promoted to the low-level Saint Venerable Realm, wanted to launch an attack, he was defeated by one blow. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2895. Thinking of this, Zuchdun, the third-class saint of the Light Alliance temple in Qingtian sanctuary, quickly shrank his neck, and the flattery on his face became more and more. Needless to say about other things for the time being, the posture that should be displayed must be displayed. Master Wuji was just joking, I'm sure, I'll keep in mind what you ordered, and I don't dare to neglect you in the slightest. Lord Wuji, it's that, the cultivation method that you promised before. Cough, I've been trapped in this 8-star peak sanctuary for too long, so. Saint Zuch took a deep breath, and the excitement on his face was beyond words. Needless to say about other things for the time being, what is shown this time is the purest gesture. While talking at the moment, he immediately nodded and bowed. He behaved back and forth like this, so he naturally had his own purpose. In fact, his most real purpose was to seek skin from the tiger, and to get rewards from the so-called big men like Yan Yan. He also wants to be promoted to the Saint Venerable Realm. Don't worry, the matter is done, and your benefits are indispensable. Why would this envoy care about these things? Get out. The man in black, known as the Promise Man, snorted coldly, and his attitude was extraordinarily arrogant. At this moment, Saint Zuch didn't dare to show any troublesome expression, on the contrary, the flattering expression on his face became more. There is no need to say much about the rest, anyway, what is revealed at this moment is exactly what it looks like. Pure and true. When the idea is in place, a wave will take off directly. My lord, the snow crystal plain is ahead. My lord, the smell of blood around has become stronger. My lord, these bloody smells are all transmitted from the snow crystal plain. My lord. The abyssal demon King Legion commanded the wings on the back of the satanic instigator. While talking, his eyes scanned the surroundings, and his facial expression changed very realistically. There is a problem with the surrounding scene. Boss. Those men in black are strong, very strong. You have to be careful. None of Dongguo's saints are their opponents. Boss. Zhou Kaishan has recovered to his original state at this moment, but there is still some worry on his face. He had personally experienced the power of those men in black before. From his point of view, he naturally didn't want any accidents to happen to his boss. Don't worry, I have a measure. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, then continued to accelerate the flying battleship. At this moment, Fang Fan is burning with anxiety. He wanted to go back and see what happened to the human emperor's palace. And those people he cares about, are they all well now? Flying directly to the snow crystal plane from the frontal position, with a glance at the past, all you can see is a piece of blood. The entire snow crystal plane has been completely soaked in blood. When Fang Fan drove the flying battleship close to the snow crystal plane, the men in black ambushing around surrounded Fang Fan's flying battleship in an instant. This is the net they set up? G. It's really a trap. It's a bit bloody. In order to wait for you, we have been squatting for several days. But fortunately, it's finally time. Beheading you, the great god of destruction will definitely bestow me with supreme gifts. In the distance came a leader in black clothes, his whole body was wrapped in black clothes, even his face was wearing a black visor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2896. With a glance at the past, in fact, only two black pupils can be seen flickering. Fang Fan secretly calmed down. He heard something. Like God of Destruction. What connection does this have with the God of Destruction? Are these people driven by the God of Destruction to deliberately target him? The reason why these men in black came here was probably not to target the snow crystal plane nor to destroy the human emperor palace. After all, these men in black are just waiting here. And their true purpose, is to kill themselves. The God of Destruction. How did I offend him? Could it be that the true God who played tricks on Thunder Tribulation over and over again is him? Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and the killing intent in his eyes was fully concentrated. Fang Fan thought that he had never offended this so-called God of Destruction at all in the beginning, but this God of Destruction kept making troubles over and over again. Do you really think he is easy to bully? When playing tricks on Lei Ji, Fang Fan counterattacked every time. Are you thinking of doing something about it now? Fang Fan clenched his fists, thinking to himself. The black lines on his forehead became more and more, and he wished he could completely devour everything in front of him. This kind of idea and thinking gathers here, and gradually becomes real. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, thinking to himself. His facial expression was unpredictable. Among the group of men in black before him, Fang Fan also saw a familiar figure. Zuch Dun, the third-class saint of the Light Alliance Temple in the Sky Sanctuary. Fang Fan had some conflicts with him before, but at least not to the point of fighting for life. Now this guy is going too far. In other words, Fang Fan's bottom line has been touched. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, thinking to himself, his eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance. At the thought of this, all kinds of thoughts erupted in an all-round way. Before Fang Fan could speak, this Zuch Dun had already strode forward. Fang Fan. If there is a way to heaven, you don't go, but if there is no way to hell, you break in. In front of Master Wuji, he will be captured soon. If it were me, I would just kill myself. I can't escape anyway. Master Wuji is the supreme existence of the Saint Venerable Realm. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you that Dong Qiushuo, who has been protecting you all this time, has also been promoted to the Holy Lord, but so what? He was seriously injured by a slap by Master Wuji, and now he has escaped to nowhere. I don't know if I'm alive or dead. Those who want to die calmly, they should cut themselves off, so that they can suffer less. In front of Lord Wuji, you have no hope. As such done, the third-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance in the Qingtian Sanctuary, was talking. His face became more and more arrogant. At this time, he was completely dog-legged. In Qingtian Sanctuary, in fact, a sub-first rank saint like him is already very strong, and now he is completely doing it on his own. Good guy. As soon as the wave went down, he was slapped in the face. What else can I say? Face gone. The cool moonlight will practice for you to the end. It's probably like this. It's just that the Dongguo Shuo he mentioned is also the Dongguo sage who has been supporting and helping Fang Fan before. Once upon a time, by chance, Fang Fan sworn brothers with this Dongguo saint. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2897. Fang Fan clenched his fist silently, his face suddenly became extremely ugly. If something unexpected happened to brother Dongguo, he would definitely regret it for the rest of his life. You all have to die. 1. I want to escape too. Fang Fan glanced around indifferently, and the murderous intent gathered here as he spoke. This moment is to fully demonstrate the sense of tyranny. At this time, there is no need to say anything, just do whatever you want. Let it all sink to this point. Death may be the best means of escape. Die. Ha 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 ha. Ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. Really ridiculous and direct. Fang Fan, you don't know your position yet, do you? What's the matter with you now? Don't you have any points in your heart? You don't really think you're lucky every time, do you? You used to have Dongguo Shuo protecting you all the time, but now it's gone. He can't protect himself now. Even if Dongguo Shuo is intact, so what? In front of Lord Wuji, let alone a single Dongguo Shuo, even 100 or 1,000 are useless. You are bound to die. Zuch Dun, who turned into a dog's leg, began to show his loyalty again at this moment. While talking at the moment, the flattering look on his face grew more and more. Needless to say the rest, it seems very shameless anyway. It's not good to be a saint, but to be a dog. The situation on the other side is wrong. Fang Fan, you have to be careful. The leading man in black on the opposite side is at least a middle-level saint and above, and a preliminary estimate should be a high-level saint. Besides, there are at least 2 low-level saints beside him. The remaining thousands of men in black are basically existences above the 5-star sanctuary realm. Such a lineup is beyond our control. Fang Fan, it's too dangerous. I'll escort you away, I'll stop them. Murong Yu's face suddenly became very ugly. From her perspective, it is natural to see how harsh the current situation is. If you are not careful, you may be about to cool down directly. In terms of the situation, it will also directly collapse into the invisible. When I think of this, my whole body is covered in cold sweat. Needless to say the rest. Although Murong Yu also exists in the Holy Venerable realm, he is only a low-level Holy Venerable after all. And there are at least 3 saints in front of them. He. In order to win me, I'm really willing to spend money. However, if you think that you can secure your chances of winning in this way, it would be too arrogant. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and there was infinite killing intent in them. Husband. Run away. They are very strong. They just set up a game against you. Husband. Leave us alone. You run away. Avenge us later. In the distance, Ymir stood at the top of the Rage God Temple and transmitted sound to Fang Fan through the air. Fang Fan's heart couldn't help but tremble when the sound waves were transmitted. Fang Fan let out a breath, his face changed very real, thinking at this moment, the corners of his mouth could not help but twitch. Immediately behind Ymir, some familiar figures appeared. Kylan, Xiling, Zhang Ao. These are the existences that I want to protect. Fang Fan gradually clenched his hands into fists, his eyes became more determined. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2898. From the perspective of Ymir and the others, the reason why they want Fang Fan to leave at this time is naturally because they are afraid that something unexpected will happen to Fang Fan. After all, these men in black look really tough. Rest assured. Don't worry. This group of people will definitely die. I will definitely kill them all. Avenge you. Everyone must die. Fang Fan murmured to himself, and his voice gradually became louder. As he spoke, the sparkle in his eyes became more and more intense. Now he was striding forward, his facial expression changed very realistically. What should come, will always come. 10 legions. 6 great heroes. Everything is ready. Ready to fight. Kill. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and then let out a roar, his facial expression changed very realistically. In the mind, the eyes became more and more pure. Promote the Titan Warrior Legion from the 5-star Peak Sanctuary to the 6-star Peak Sanctuary. Promote the 5-star Peak Sanctuary level Sky Dragon Knight Legion to the 6-star Peak Sanctuary level. Fang Fan suddenly narrowed his eyes, and then secretly shouted. He has 10 legions, 8 of which have been promoted to the 6-star Peak Sanctuary level before. The rest of the Titan Warrior Legion and Dragon Knight Legion were delayed because of insufficient star cores at the time. At this moment, it is natural to make up for it. Fang Fan exhaled a breath of foul air, thinking to himself that the changes in facial expressions were so real. What should come, will always come. Let it all explode in full swing. Earlier, Murong gave Fang Fan 40,000 high-grade star cores, worth 4 trillion low-grade star cores, just enough to use. Ding. Consumed 24,000 top-grade star cores and successfully purchased 24,000 exclusive Holy Promotion cards. The 5-star Peak Sanctuary level Titan Warriors Legion and the 5-star Peak Sanctuary level Dragon Knight Legion have all been promoted to 6-star Peak Holy Realms. Territory. A system notification sound came from his ear, and Fang Fan let out a mouthful of foul air, and his facial expression changed very realistically. Fang Fan nodded silently, then subconsciously licked his lips, the gleam in his eyes became more and more intense, and everything was going to explode completely. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Blood Shura Legion. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Yellow Turban Sanctuary Warlock Legion. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Gothic Sanctuary Sharpshooter Corps. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Low Heavy Machine Artillery Corps. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Sanctuary Silver Dragon Knight Legion. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Seraphim Army. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Abyss Demon King Legion. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Verdict Unicorn Holy Beast Army. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Titan Warrior Legion. 6-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Heavenly Dragon Knight Legion. 10 legions. Line up. Meet the enemy. No difference, kill. Kill. Fang Fan sneered, the top 10 legions took the lead in setting up their positions, and then stepped out with a murderous look. Followed by the 6 heroes and the 4 favorites. All gathered here, killing intent gathered here. Murong Yu on the side opened his mouth, and then sighed softly. At this moment, she already knew what Fang Fan meant. From Murong Yu's point of view, she felt that the situation in front of her was too unfavorable, and wanted to protect Fang Fan and evacuate, but at the moment Fang Fan obviously did not take her suggestion. In Fang Fan's heart, there are still many people who cannot let go. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2899. Murong Yu glanced into the distance, saw Yamire, Kylan, Yun Yun, and several sweet-looking women with beautiful facial features. The eyes of these women were all focused on Fang Fan, and their eyes were full of affection. As a woman, how can Murong Yu not understand what these eyes represent? Murong Yu let out a breath, thinking to himself, and then sighed deeply. Deep in my heart I couldn't help but feel some anxiety. The thoughts gathered here, and the changes in facial expressions were particularly real. Everything is the best. I know his nature, he is definitely not the kind of person who escapes lightly. Those women have feelings for him, and he will never abandon them. Even if you die on the spot, you will not hesitate. If something happens to him, it won't make any sense for me to live on. As it is now, it's fine. It would be great if we could walk this last part of the journey with him. Then let's make the final kill. Murong Yu murmured to himself, while talking on his mouth, the sparkle in his eyes grew more and more, and his facial expression changed very real at this moment. It is also a different kind of happiness to be able to die on the battlefield with someone you like. At least in Murong Yu's heart at this moment, there is no fear at all. The atmosphere at this moment is more or less solemn. Even Bai Piao, who had always seemed very talkative, stopped chattering now. Bai Piao's gaze was firmly fixed on Fang Fan, his legs were erect, ready to rush over to serve as a shield for Fang Fan at any time. There is no need to say more about the friendship. Interesting. The mayfly shakes the tree. A mere ant dare to shout in front of me. No wonder it can be remembered by the god of destruction. Since we all want to die together, let's go together. Kill them all. Black Jade Army. Kill. The black-robed Manwuji narrowed his eyes, and then gave an order. While roaring, his eyes became sharper. This time, his expression gradually became more solemn. This time, the combat power gathered here has already exploded in an all-round way. What should come, will always come. Thousands of black-clothed men rushed towards them directly in front of them, and the formation was like a cloud. There is quite a feeling of black clouds overwhelming the city. Fang Fan exhaled, his eyes flickered. Although all the top 10 legions under his command have been promoted to the 6-star peak sanctuary realm, the total number of people added up is only about 100. Although the top 10 legions are not weak, the group in front of them is obviously extremely strong. These men in black who abide by the oracle of the god of destruction obviously will not just let it go. What they want is to kill Fang Fan so that they can return to the god of destruction. The god of destruction. Is it the true god who controls the law of destruction? Then let's start destroying it from now on. First kill all these lackeys. Fang Fan clenched his fists tightly, his eyes flickered quickly. Fang Fan. Murong Yu opened his mouth, his face was full of worry at this moment. I'm going to stop the leader of the man in black, you, find a chance to escape. Murong Yu sighed softly, and immediately prepared to rush out without hesitation. At this time, there must be no slack in the slightest. From Murong Yu's point of view, I still hope that Fang Fan can live. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2900. For this, she is willing to sacrifice herself. Boy Fang Fan, I don't have other abilities, but I still have some ability to resist blows. It's not a problem to resist the attack of the Holy One on the opposite side for a few rounds. Cough, you can figure it out then. Bai Piao clenched her teeth, with a heartless smile on her face. Boss. You gave me my life, so let me fight to the death with you. Zhou Kaishan patted his chest, and while talking, the arrogance on his face grew more and more. There is no slack at this moment. Never felt panic fear. These thoughts and ideas do not exist. Fight to the death, in the end. Good. They are all good brothers. They will all be frozen for 10 seconds later. Take advantage of these 10 seconds to kill as much as you want. Kill. 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 Fang Fan snorted secretly, his eyes became more and more determined. What should come will always come. Let it all come together. The moment of bursting is frightening. Now, get ready, but don't make any moves at this moment, don't rush over now. Wait for me to give the order, and then charge forward. Follow my orders. Fang Fan wriggled his lips, while talking, then murmured to himself, his breathing became rapid, and his facial expression was unpredictable. The people around looked at each other, and they all seemed a little confused. At this moment, he was completely stupefied. What does this mean? Fang Fan. Murong Yu opened his mouth. In fact, he wanted to remind Fang Fan not to be too whimsical. She even wondered if Fang Fan started to hallucinate because of too much pressure. Although she was willing to believe in Fang Fan's strange ability, but all these people in front of her were frozen for 10 seconds. Is this possible? Murong Yu opened his mouth, then subconsciously licked his lips. Before Murong Yu finished speaking, Bai Piao's eyes lit up. Fang Fan, do you have other connections? Fang Fan boy, you are holding a big move. Tisk, tisk tisk, no wonder you've been so calm, it turns out you've been prepared for a long time. Careless. This wave is really careless. Fang Fan boy, can this wave be stabilized directly? Then there's really no need to panic. Boy Fang Fan, I knew you wouldn't blindly die. Bai Piao nodded in agreement, then followed up with a smile on his face. If there are other means, then this decisive battle is not necessarily a death battle. Coming. It's close. Closing to us. Fang Fan exhaled a foul breath, and at this moment looked at Xueling beside him, telling her to be ready at any time. What should come will always come. At this time, one cannot easily choose to be indifferent. Don't rush out now, choose to store your strength. You will have a chance to perform later. Fang Fan lowered his voice, then secretly shouted. Under Fang Fan's command, all the staff were silent and stood around silently, never slack in the slightest. All is ready except for the opportunity. In the distance, Wuji, the leader of the man in black flying over, glanced forward, with a look of contempt on his face. He is not a fool, he subconsciously felt that there was a conspiracy, but what effect does the ant's conspiracy have on the giant? It's just a waste of time to continue tossing, it just adds to the jokes, that's all.